the semi-final, get that victory by 3-0. And the little maestro, Messi himself, playing an integral role in that Argentina demolition of Croatia. Welcome to Final Whistle, where we break down all the action from Qatar. I'm your host, Jordan Fort, and joining me, as usual, I've got my friends. Never mind the fact that you see a new look, they're all here with me. And we've got a surprise for you a little later in the program as well in terms of who's here. But let's introduce the panelists to you. I'm sure you've gotten used to it by now. Andrew Price, to my right, to your left. Of course, the technical director at Humble Iron and at Calabar High School. And then we've also got Shavar Thomas and Eric Rademacher's first. Okay, let's get it right. That's not Shavar, folks. That's Eric Rademacher's, of course, technical director at Campion College. And he is smiling because Campion, they've broken a long trophy drought in the ISA Under-16 football competition. That's Shavar now, so you don't have to adjust your screens. Assistant coach at FC Cincinnati 2, of course, former Reggae Boys captain and former coach of Portmore United. And Sharona Forrester is also here, former assistant manager of the Reggae Girls and former Reggae Girl herself, as we talk about the action from Argentina versus Croatia. And then a little later on, we preview France versus Morocco. But for right now, the little maestro, Lionel Messi, is into a second final, and he's got a second chance to crown himself as the GOAT, greatest of all time. I'm sure he's looking forward to Sunday, as are many of us here, maybe none more so than Mr. Shavar Thomas himself, who supports the Argentina team, of course, when he's not supporting Jamaica, of course. And I'm sure he's put out of his memory that match between Jamaica and Argentina at the 1998 World Cup. The less said about that, the better. But the Argentines into the final, Shavar. Second time Messi is going into a final. I mean, he was a giant today, wasn't he?
Most definitely. And not only him, it was a solid performance from the whole Argentina team. I think the coach was spot on his tactics today. Defensively, they were chasing together to recover the ball, making it hard for the Croatians, not allowing them to play. And yesterday I said it on the program. If Argentina start to defend from the front with Alvarez, it's going to be a long day for Croatia. And today it was. We also set forth that if it is that Argentina don't let the Croatians start to play with Lovren and Vardial and not getting the ball to Modric, or if it does get to Modric, have him playing from deeper in his own half, then it'll be a good day. And they made a mistake on the first goal. Argentina capitalized, and then the game was out of their reach from then.
Yes, and by the way, just completing the coaching cast, we've got Miguel Coley, who is over there in the Middle East, who is also going to join us on Zoom as well. We've sorted out one or two issues. So Coach Coley is there as well. Coach Coley, thanks for tapping in as usual. I mean, I don't know if you've gotten a sense of the atmosphere over there, but I'm sure you were keenly tuned into the match. What say you on this Argentina performance against Croatia? All right, let's continue to work on that. He's a million miles away, so it's difficult for us to connect with him. Coach Rademacher's, the Argentines turning up, I mean, they left no doubt about in their performance today.
Since their last match was against Netherlands, looking at them, it still hurts a little bit. But when you see Messi and you see those moments where it's really from a different level that he shows, it makes it easier for me to accept it, because as much as Shavar said it was a great team performance, look at the defense that maybe was expected in the World Cup, one of their weak links, and looking pretty strong, even keeping Lisandro Martinez on the bench with a good performance. Still maybe player or not, but they're doing great. But when Messi turns on, I think it's a joy to watch, and it's really knowing it's his last World Cup and he's so close, seeing him to perform in the knockout stages now. It's a joy, I think, for most fans to watch.
Yeah, Sharona, I mean, they came in as one of the pre-tournament favourites, having gone 36 games unbeaten prior to the start of the World Cup. Of course, they lost their very first match, but since then, they've had pretty much an impeccable record. How impressed have you been, and especially considering the stage now in the semi-finals against the Croatia team, which was in the last final, how impressed have you been with this Argentina outfit?
Well, that's one loss out of 42 games. So that is very, very impressive. They had only 36% possession today. But I thought in the beginning, I saw Messi at the top of the pitch. Sometimes he drops deep. And you know, he's not very, very dangerous from there. So I knew today was a different mentality for Messi. He was very lively. He said, okay, Gavardiel, you're young, you're coming up, but I've been here before, so excuse me, please. And you know, it was a command performance from Messi, and that brought it, and the team was right there with him. So I think it is going to be a very, very interesting final.
Yeah, of course, Coach Price, I wanted to talk about Messi as well, and we'll talk plenty more about him. But nobody has mentioned Julian Alvarez so far, who won the penalty for the first goal and then completed a wonder run for the second goal. I mean, one or two good fortune in terms of bounces there, but I mean, he was a beast today, wasn't he?
Yes, he definitely was. But I think, you know, the inspiration provided by Messi, I think really motivated Alvarez to have the game that he had today. When you look at Messi, over 21 receptions out of midfield into him. I always say that if Messi's on the ball a lot in this game, Argentina would win the game easily. And without a doubt, he really had the opportunity to get passes to Alvarez. I mean, the second goal that he scored, Alvarez, it was a textbook. And any kid watching football, that is how you go to the byline and cut back the ball for your forward to just tap in. It was an excellent run by Messi. I mean, he dismantled Guardiola and just cut back that ball, and Alvarez just tapped in. It was a command performance from the maestro Messi, and I believe that in the type of form that he is, we're going to expect more fireworks in the finals.
Yeah, and of course, we'll have the Maverick on the go, as usual, a little later on, and we'll also open up the phone lines for you a little later on as well. Just waiting on the green light to go to the Maverick on the go. But before we do that, Shavar, all right, let's take it now then. The Maverick, he's on the go, so let's just join the Maverick and see the jubilation. I'm sure he'll probably find himself in a flood of Argentine supporters.
Okay, it's the Maverick on the go, and I told you, what me tell them say, they will never know. So guess what? The Maverick hit the streets on the scooter, and guess what the streets scare me? Yeah? Porsche Simpson Miller Square, aka 3 Mile. Me there one spot named Willie's Place. Yeah? And you have some name Buenos Aires Central. What the Argentina fans in there? What are they? All right. Uno ear, all right, hold it there. Uno ear me talk about, so you can understand the vibes inside Willie's Place when the goal them score and when Messi go with them magic there. This World Cup here, my boss, you first. The World Cup here, it is turning out to be. It is looking as if it is going to be Lionel Messi's World Cup. What you have to say about that?
Boy, I mean, I have nothing more to say about you have said the right thing now, where you never had to say. So. Get up on the right track with me now.
Finally.
Me have a little space here, but I know water we're going to put you away, you can hold on.
Come here, my friend. The lady here, Argentina fan, she beat me bad. From she come in that place and see me, she beat me bad and she beat Neymar bad. Talk to them on the final whistle, live on TV, talk to them.
You see Neymar, and Messi look a baby. You see Neymar, you never hungry for it. You see Messi hungry for it. Messi up on a mission with him, have to complete. So you see Sunday, we are carrying home the victory. I'm a believe in that.
No matter who you feel.
One Argentina, one Messi. I never bring no other side but Argentina. One Argentina.
Hey. Come here, this lady. I don't know if this lady attack. She got us answer me with the hand. Cause everything from there, all she do is blow the hand. What is about Argentina, my friend?
One Messi, one Argentina, victory. 2020.
Give them one. Give them one out of the hand. All right. It's the Maverick on the go, and I told you can never know. Yeah, what you say? Come in. What you say?
Argentina, saying I don't know that from the start. Argentina.
All right. Hey, come here, hold on. You don't have to see this man now. Look on this man now. From head to toe. This one I talk about. Argentina. It's the Maverick on the go!
I mean, if they're celebrating like that in Jamaica, imagine in Rosario, Buenos Aires, and all those places in Argentina, what the atmosphere must be like after watching their team with such a commanding performance. Of course, the job is not done yet, and such are the dizzying heights that Lionel Messi is at, and such are the expectations that he really needs to complete it, because, of course, he's been here before, painfully losing out to Germany in 2014 in Brazil. Doesn't want to make the same occurrence take place again in Qatar. Miguel Coley is with us, so I think we've sorted out those technical issues. Miguel? Still not hearing us? All right, probably still not hearing us, Miguel. Shavar, we were speaking before the game, and you did say that you expected Scaloni to revert to the back four, which he did. There was, I think, a forced change because Acuna was out due to card suspension. But how much of that played a factor in the outcome of the contest today?
Most definitely did, because it also silenced Perisic in the wide area, who's very dangerous. He has been dangerous his whole career in that position, as well as in the World Cup. So we saw that today. Not much crosses coming in the box. So they defended stoutly today. Not just in the wide areas, but from the front. You know, we saw Alvarez doing his run, making it hard for the defenders to start the game, putting them on the back foot, running into the space. Even sometimes you saw him in the middle of the defensive third, making challenges. So it was an all-round performance from the group.
It was an all-round performance. Coach Eric Rademacher, when you look at this Argentina outfit, and specifically at today's match, what is it that they, I mean, clearly Lionel Messi is on a level by himself, but what else is it that they do so well?
I think part of a great team, and when you're in a World Cup you want to win, is to finding a certain chemistry where the things work. You know, I think even was part of, I believe it was the Brazil match, where you say in the final third it's not really clicking. You know, you hear those things. And I think what happened with Argentina, they lost Lo Celso right before the World Cup. I think even with Di Maria, kind of some changes, and even with personnel figuring out what works best, they found that groove. And when you have now, to still come back to Messi, you have your leader in the team that has a good match, or that has a good energy that he puts out there. Yeah, and you have a team that's getting used to each other. You have a midfield clicking. You have McAllister in the midfield that, I mean, we were talking about teams before the World Cup. He was not considered to be a starter at all. And he is now playing in the midfield against what may have been the best midfield in the World Cup with Croatia. And he's running in that midfield just having fun and having a good time. And that is something that is difficult to get to that level as a coach, because intangibles that makes you get there. But it's great to see when you do get there and players can stand up to it. So I think that's a big part of why even today seemed so easy, because the players are finding each other and having a good time on the field.
Yeah, Sharona, you alluded to something, and I want to bring Coach Price in on it as well. You know, that's why statistics can be a little bit, you know, it can put you off a little bit, because Argentina only had 35% possession and Croatia had 52% of the possession today. I don't know if watching the game that really came across, because Argentina really seemed like the superior outfit for the full 90 plus.
It depends on where you have your possession. And if your possession is more in your defensive unit, then you know you can have all the possession in the world. And Argentina were comfortable with that. Whenever they got the ball, though, that is when they were very effective. And I keep repeating this particular statistics. 21 receptions into Messi. That's the most that he has had for the entire World Cup. They were getting him on the ball a lot, and the more he got on the ball, the more the confidence grew of the entire team, and he inspired the rest of them. That counter was so deliberate. I mean, Messi got, I would consider a foul in that counter for the first goal, but guess what? The team continued playing, and Alvarez got the resultant goal. So, you know, I think his inspiration out there, he has gotten the team to gel together. They're playing well, they're understanding each other. Their midfield and their defensive blocks are good. I mean, when they counter in numbers. They're just doing everything right. I mean, when you look at Emi Martinez today, he hardly even got a test. Just shows you how well their defensive unit played today. I mean, they have been outstanding. I mean, a clean sheet and 3 goals, getting into the finals of the World Cup, they're on a high.
Yeah, and just to add to that point that Coach Price just made, before this match, Argentina conceded only 6 shots on target, which was the fewest of all the 32 teams at the World Cup. So I think an often overlooked part of their performance at the World Cup was their defensive unit, which has been so solid. We're going to take a break now on Final Whistle, and when we come back, we discuss the Argentina versus Croatia match some more, and of course later on we look forward to France versus Morocco.
Final Whistle brought to you by Digicel, Grace, Pepsi, and Burger King.
Fool! You just get what? But you hungry, man. You're the king of this. Like how up are the king of burgers. You see when Burger King goes so boom, and they make the beef patty well seasoned up and put it on the open flame, then them go so juicy pickles, tomatoes, freshly cut onions, crispy lettuce, classic. Every other burger still stuck at square one.
Babe!
3 juicy whopper, right on time.
Taste rules your way at Burger King. The best tasting burgers under the sun.
What is up?
Because it's the season of giving, enjoy enough pickings this Christmas with a chance to pick and win your share of over 16 million in cash and prizes. Plus, get 25% off a 7 or 28-day Prime Brota bundle in the My Digicel app today. Enter to pick and win with Digicel this Christmas.
Grace Foods got the taste that moves you. Yard and abroad, it moves you. Grace Foods, the taste that moves you. Feel the vibes and the time of the day. Grace Foods from the end. Yeah, the taste that moves you. From the spices move you. Everybody shout out Grace. When the food sweet, we dance. When the vibe nice, we love. The taste that moves you. Grace bringing the food you love.
Grace has the taste that everyone loves. That's why when we move with Grace.
Make money now with local City and Guilds and ABE endorsed certificates and Distinction College. Start new online and face-to-face classes very soon in our Make Money Now career courses and get qualified jobs worldwide or start your own business in practical pediatric, geriatric, and psychiatric nursing, phlebotomy and pharmacy technician, early childhood education, child care, cashiering, call center, event planning, receptionist, customer service, housekeeping, waitering, food preparation, bartending, cake baking, plumbing, motor vehicle, electrical installation, air conditioning, makeup, hairdressing, nail technician, and cosmetology. No subjects required, no age limit. Register this week and get City and Guilds Maths and English classes for free. Call us at 3564167.
Final Whistle brought to you by Digicel, Grace, Pepsi, and Burger King.
All right, so just in case you missed it, Argentina march on to the final. They await the winner of Morocco versus France at the great spectacle in football in Qatar. And guess what? We've made one substitution here on our panel. Guess who's on the shores of Jamaica? We've been joining him via Zoom all this time. But Liam Henriquez is with us now in studio. So happy to have you here, Liam. Of course,
thank you for having me.
You were keenly tuned in, as everyone was, to the Argentina contest. And yourself and Shavar said before the game that you expected Argentina to revert to the back four. You expected a few changes in there as well. Of course, Acuna was a forced change. But, I mean, Julian Alvarez, who wasn't the starter at this World Cup, it was Lautaro Martinez. I think most people have even forgotten his name. Stepped up brilliantly today. The changes Scaloni made in terms of the setup worked like a wonder today. So what were your thoughts on the contest?
Well, you know, Croatia started off on the front foot, kind of. You know, they ended up having more possession in the game. I think it was 62%. But I think for the first 2 goals, Croatia pressed up too high, and we see Kovacic getting the ball forward, but we saw Argentina hit their first 2 goals on a counter. With their pace, Croatia cannot afford to go that high and let Argentina hit so nicely on the counter. First goal was a penalty, but it was off a counter as well. So I think Croatia, they've shown this World Cup, they're not like a Morocco, even though they're on the underdog side. They do like to go forward and attack, but that kind of didn't really help them because it played against them for the first 2 goals, and I think also we have to take into consideration they've gone to penalties in their last 2 games and their legs are tired.
Yeah, well, I thought about that as well, and we mentioned that the age factor may just come in, especially as you said, back-to-back penalty shootouts. And it's not only physically draining, it's also mentally draining. I mean, they took down Brazil in the previous round, and you know all the emotions that come with going up against the 5-time champions. What were your thoughts on, whether or not that may have played a factor today?
No, yeah, like I said, their legs, they definitely would have been tired. Obviously, their midfield is it's experienced, but it's also old. I think Argentina did a good job of locking down that midfield. Kovacic was fantastic. I think it's unfortunate, to see a player like that going out. Modric did drop for the ball, but yeah, mentally also would have been hard on them. They would have had the confidence though, took on the mighty Brazil, and they would have come into this thing, we take on one of the big South American teams, why can't we take on the other? But, unfortunately, they couldn't get the job done today. We didn't see the efficiency we've seen with this team over the last 2 World Cups.
Indeed, and by the way, before this game, Croatia had conceded 4 times as many shots on target as Argentina, 22, but Livakovic had made 20 saves, and I'm talking about outside of penalty shootouts now, so he was immense, not quite so in this game. Coach Coley, hopefully 3rd time's a charm here as we bring you in on the discussion again between Argentina and Croatia. Your thoughts?
I think all credits to the coach. The setup was perfect, especially with the 2 strikers. And, different from Brazil 2 strikers, the Messi and the Alvarez, whenever they lose the ball, they're pressing directly. And they could be very compact inside of the middle. But credit to the coach. I think today what you saw was how you want to play also against Morocco, in which rather than going outside of the team and putting crosses, what Argentina did was go through the center of the Croatia team. And that paid dividend, because when you have players running at defenders rather than going wide and putting crosses, where the Croatian many times sit deep, and the Modric and the Kovacic and Brozovic coming back and closing that line, and could even very well, the Argentina basically went through the center with a line and Messi. You saw Messi very deliberate, playing more in the central. Only probably by the 3rd goal he went to the side. He was right to the center. Now, Croatia team, what they do many times is that the 3 midfielders, they play rondo in the middle of the half. They're not set up to create a lot of chances, because if you notice, the number 10 position is always void. So they're basically set up to, wear down. And as you know, history has shown that they have gone through so many penalty shootouts. But Argentina scoring those goals, as you said, Croatia maybe snooze and they lose in those 6 minutes, and a fantastic team performance. But Messi was very, very good in terms of attacking, in terms of a defensive organization, and the compactness of the Argentina team is second to none.
Yeah, by the way, Coach Coley, let's go into that debate. Let's dive in, because, of course, every time Lionel Messi plays, we have to talk about legacy. We have to talk about, where the performance fits in terms of defining his legacy. We know he's still playing, and we don't know when he'll stop. He says this is his final big dance. But, where does this performance rank, you think, in the career of Lionel Messi in so many illustrious moments? How can we contextualize this one, given the magnitude of the match?
No, it's a top performance, because Messi was. Look at the penalty that they got. Even when when Alvarez went down by the keeper, the player who was chasing the ball was Lionel Messi. He was everywhere for the team, especially in the final third. He was everywhere for the team. He basically defended well for the team. He attacked well, and this is one of his top performances. He was not basically walking around trying to find a space. He was finding the ball. And what I think the Croatia team should have done a little bit more was put more pressure on McAllister. Against Brazil, every time when Casemiro got the ball, you find Luka Modric closing him. McAllister is one of the players who passed the most ball to Lionel Messi. And you saw in the Netherlands game, Van Gaal man-to-man McAllister in the second half and in extra time. And this is how they came back in the goal, because he's a player, him and DePaul are 2 players who give a lot of passes into Lionel Messi. And today you saw how many passes Lionel Messi get in the space. So this performance, I don't want to stray too much, is one of the top performances from Messi. And this, I think when he talk about his career, he's going to basically talk about this moment first, believe me.
Yeah, Coach Coley, as Coach Price pointed out, the number of touches that Lionel Messi got as well. Rademacher, we've spoken about the legacy, and I think it may have been after the game against Mexico, when he seemingly found a goal, out of nothing, and really spur the team on to victory when they lost their opening game to Saudi Arabia and really needed it. And you said that, listen, Lionel Messi can score in all the group stage matches and all the knockout matches up until the final. If they don't win the World Cup, they'll probably look at it and say, well, his legacy is incomplete.
I mean,
have you changed your mind?
I wonder what Kohli would say, but if they would lose the final, I don't think this is the first match that he will be talking about when you talk about his legacy. So I still fully believe that if he doesn't win the World Cup, I mean, it will be added to his legacy. I mean, he scored, I think, every knockout match now, 3 in a row knockout match, and he never scored a knockout match before. And he really taking them on to the final. So it definitely already contributed something to his legacy being bigger. But what Messi really wants, and I think all the fans are really looking forward, is for him to win the World Cup. When he wins the World Cup, he's now going to refer back to, I think this was his best match in the World Cup. He's going to turn back to this match and say, like, this is really a match that was critical in reaching this, these new heights now that we'll be looking at him.
Yeah. Coach Price, is this Messi's best ever World Cup? Overall, not just this match, but is this his best ever World Cup so far?
Definitely. When you look at it consistently, I think he has played well. He has played well from the very first game. I don't think Messi has had a bad game. What I think the difference in this particular game over the other games is that he has had more touches in this game. He has been more influential in this game. And I believe he knows that it is getting closer to that hour where he wants to win his first World Cup. So he does everything possible to get on the ball as much as possible, influence his team, get his teammates involved. I mean, that assist that he provided Alvarez was just a peach of a goal. When you look at the work that he did on the Croatian defense to take it down to the byline, cut back the ball for Alvarez just to slot home, just shows you that he's working hard for the team. He wants it and he tastes it.
And that was with Guardiola that we've been talking about.
One of the best defenders in the entire World Cup.
But I also want to say we saw Maverick on the goal with the fans saying, Neymar, you're not hungry. But it does come down, and that shows in those statistics. If you are the best player and you reach a crucial phase of a tournament, give the ball to me. And that's what it needs to be every time. I should get the ball, and that will result in finding space to receive the ball. And then you get 21 receptions. I think it's even in between the midfield and the defensive line where he get those receptions.
So, I think he played excellent today. This is one of his better games. But guess what? The work is not done yet. He has to get to the final and produce again. But guess what? This is a good platform going into the finals. And all of Argentina must be willing him on to get the job done. He wants it, and he's playing as if he wants it. I believe in the prior games in the tournament, he was just really coasting, taking it easy. He has turned it up a notch now. He's ready and rearing to go.
Yeah, we're going to look forward as well, Sharona, to who he's likely to face, or who we'll think he'll face in the final. But before we even get to that, your assessment of Messi's tournament.
A fantastic tournament.
Best ever for him, you think?
I think so. When you effect change and you're impactful on a game, not just from, way deep and stringing passes through, but literally taking on people, running down the line. You haven't really seen that from him in this tournament till today. And I think if I'm a player and my top person is peaking at the semifinals, I am excited to play, and I want to give it my all as well, so that's a big push and inspiration for everybody else. Like, he's on his top game. Me can't be the one for mess it up, so I think that's gonna play key.
Messi is having a better World Cup than Mbappe so far?
No,
I know we said, I think last week we all said Mbappe. Is Messi now overtaking it?
No.
Not
necessarily.
I
have to see tomorrow to make that assessment.
All right, let me bring in Liam then. Let me bring in Liam on this one. Yeah, is this his best World Cup? And is he the best player in the World Cup?
I don't know. It's tough, We have to give Mbappe, like I said, the chance tomorrow. Messi is also the older player. We take that into consideration. But at the end of the day, we're talking about this World Cup. Age doesn't really factor into that. It's who's playing the better. It's tough. Mbappe was kind of in the shadows against England, but you could say that for Messi in other games as well. So I say we'll watch France's game tomorrow, then we decide.
But in the shadows, he was being instrumental because he knew that they were coming for him. So he pulled people away. So that was for me, I think that was very mature of Mbappe. So I think I have to say tomorrow because I think Messi was smart. He can't run in all 6-7 games. So he had to choose when to go. So based on tomorrow now, I could, see who was better.
By the way, Argentina, they had never been eliminated at the semi-final stage, and they keep that run going. And they've qualified for their 6th final ever. They're only bettered by, guess who, Eric?
Brazil.
No.
Who?
Your team.
Netherlands?
Yeah.
We've been to more finals?
Yeah.
No, that's
no,
statistics.
no, it's not the Netherlands.
I know.
It's not the Netherlands.
I wish we had that many.
It's trying to date you.
It's actually Germany. It's actually
Champion?
Germany. No, it's actually Germany. They've been to 8. But of course, only a couple of World Cup titles for the Argentines. And I think Lionel Messi wants to step out of the shadows of Diego Maradona, who led them in 1986. And, I think the commentator spoke about Mario Kempes, who was watching on, and he led them in...
Yes, that was against Netherlands.
That was against the Netherlands. And they do have history. We saw that in their previous match. But we're going to take a break now on Final Whistle. When we come back, though, we look forward to what is expected to be a mouth-watering clash between France and Morocco tomorrow.
Final Whistle brought to you by Digicel, Grace, Pepsi, and Burger King.
Grace Foods got the taste that moves you. Yard and abroad, it moves you. Grace Foods, the taste that moves you. Fuel the vibes anytime when the day Grace Foods from the end. Yeah, taste that moves you. From the spices move you. Everybody shout out Grace.
When the food sweet, we dance. When the vibe nice, we love. The taste that moves you. Grace bringing the food you love.
Grace has the taste that everyone loves. That's why when we move with Grace.
Fool! You just get what? But you hungry, man. You're the king of this. Like how up are the king of burger. You see when Burger King goes so boom and they make the beef patty well seasoned up and put it on the open flame, then them go so juicy pickles, tomatoes, freshly cut onions, crispy lettuce, classic. Every other burger still stuck at square one.
Babe!
3 juicy whopper right on time.
Taste rules your way at Burger King, the best tasting burgers under the sun.
What is up?
Because it's the season of giving, enjoy enough pickings this Christmas with a chance to pick and win your share of over 16 million in cash and prizes. Plus, get 25% off a 7 or 28-day Prime Brota bundle in the My Digicel app today. Enter to pick and win with Digicel this Christmas.
Final Whistle brought to you by Digicel, Grace, Pepsi, and Burger King.
All right, welcome back now to Final Whistle, giving you all the expert analysis and the breakdowns of the Showpiece tournament over there in Qatar. Of course, Argentina, if you're just joining us and perhaps you were living under a rock, maybe I don't know where you were coming from, marching into another World Cup final. They beat Croatia by 3-0 in the semi-final today. And of course, France will take on Morocco tomorrow. We want to go to a quick feature now on the greatest tournament for African and Arab nations. Of course, it's the first time an African nation is getting all the way to the semi-final. And let's take a listen to this now.
This is the greatest tournament my continent has ever experienced. Not only because we are experiencing for the first time an African and an Arab nation in semifinals, but because every African team that came here won a game at least. Look, we've had great players playing the European League. In fact, we are the ones, and the South Americans and the Europeans, we are the ones that have made soccer in the Champions League what it is. The variety, the beauty that comes with it. And now the Arab world has joined in, which is also great. We have the Asians, like even Duri Char here. I remember the father, Char Boom Boom. These are people, that's what makes football beautiful, diversity. For it to get even more beautiful, there has to be diversity in coaching. There has to be diversity in culture. There has to be diversity on how we see football.
All right, so yes, I mean, the Moroccans have exceeded everyone's expectations at the tournament in Qatar, and they've got great support. I think, you know, reading an article from one journalist who wrote that they would love to see an Argentina-Morocco final only because the stadium would probably turn upside down with the amount of noise that would be inside there. I mean, the Moroccans' fan support has been absolutely outstanding this tournament, and I think only maybe the Argentines and maybe Brazil, you've heard the hum inside the stadium when La Albiceleste Argentina play, when the Seleção Brazil play, but when Morocco have played, trust me, the support has been phenomenal. And they do have one more hurdle, and it is a giant hurdle, probably double their size, because the French are the current World Cup holders. We want to look forward to that game now, Morocco versus France. I mean, we've talked about Kylian Mbappe, we've talked about Antoine Griezmann and Olivier Giroud from France. We've talked about Amrabat from Morocco, Hakim Ziyech and Ashraf Hakimi, and the matchups are mouth-watering, Eric. What should we expect from that contest tomorrow?
I expect Morocco to be somewhat conservative. I think they will realize that if they're going to go and press them high, if you give Dembele and Mbappe space, that will be very dangerous. So I expect them to sit back more. I think Kohli made a good point earlier. When you have a team like that, you're going to try to, yes, you want to keep it wide, but when you have that successful and you have players like a Ziyech, like a Buffon, who are going to defend the wide areas to penetrate, try to get a quick one through the middle with quick combinations. So I think it's going to be important for France to have liveliness in the attacking third, know when they speed it up. And when they speed it up, they have to have certain combinations. But I think what might kill Morocco in the end is the individual class of Mbappe and Dembele. Because no matter how good you defend spaces, if you get beaten one by one, you're going to create an overload somewhere else. And if you have the quality to exploit those overloads, they go and get shots on target. And as much as Bono has been one of the best keepers in the tournament, we've seen some good keepers, but he's been having a good tournament. It's going to be tricky when you take the shots from Mbappe compared to some others.
Yeah, Coach Kohli, I think you've been high on this Morocco team from before even the start of the tournament. I mean, they've gone further than I think most people have expected. Maybe only Samuel Eto'o, who predicted them to go to the final. I think he probably had Cameroon in the semi-final or something like that as well. But, you know, you've been, shouting from the mountaintop that this Morocco team is a good team. Have they finally run their race? I mean, the French, the title holders, seem to be out of sight so far at this tournament. Probably only Argentina have matched them. Do you think Morocco will be able to kill another giant?
Well, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult. As I said, the French team is a very good team. But you see, they have beaten the likes of Portugal, who's is a fantastic team. The likes of Spain, the likes of Belgium, they have done very well against all of the top teams, especially teams in the top 10. Now, Mbappe is basically on fire. Giroud is a different type of striker that they have not faced, So it's going to be a very, very tough game. Can they win? Yes, there are possibilities in which they can win. But I think Morocco is a team that may score, maybe one goal, but the France team has a lot of goals in them. Now, how France can score goals against this team, as Eric said a while ago, going through the center, that is very, very important. So I'm expecting the French team to sometimes build up with a 3-4-3 with the wingers coming inside, especially behind Amrabat, because he's a player that closes the lines every time when teams go down the wide areas and winning the ball. He has good anticipation, good vigilance, and he's been fantastic. I am expecting also for the wing back, when they go in the high areas, to play the ball into the striker, and maybe in this case Griezmann now can play a double ball from Griezmann to him in this area. And also they have to start shooting outside, because going into the wide areas and crossing against a team that is very tall and a team that have two of the best right back. I say right back because Marazou is a right back for Bayern Munich. He plays on the left side. So they have on the wide areas very good 1v1 defenders. Now, what can the Morocco team do? The rights with Mbappe not coming back, they can definitely create a lot of overloads on the left side of the Spain team, and I don't think Hernandez is such a great defender. And if they can put some telling cross inside, especially with the striker who can jump very tall, he's very flexible, and also with Buffal on the left side, if he can play at a high level for maybe 80 minutes and not just 60 minutes in this game, which maybe is unlikely being the fact that he plays, his legs are going, it can be they can make a game of it. But I'm expecting the French team to win. I'm expecting them to be very well good inside of the midfield, like the last game. So, but it's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a tough game. Who I want to win? I tell you at the end of the show.
I hope you will. By the way, we have to also take into consideration that the Moroccan team, additionally to the fact that their legs are spent, is that they have injury issues. I think Ziyech probably should be able to go. He's got a knock, but Romain Saiss, the influential captain, the strong man at the back, has injury issues. So to Amrabat, I think he's had to be patched up the entire tournament. I think even Ashraf Hakimi has been less than 100%. He hadn't been starting regularly. He had been out injured for his club team, for PSG, heading into the tournament. So, they've got all these injury issues, plus their legs are spent. I think, though, that France, on their injury front, do have a few issues as well. I think Upamecano may have an illness. Adrien Rabiot may be struggling.
They have some more depth in their squad than Morocco.
They do, but we did say that when they made 9 changes against Tunisia, they were vulnerable. They obviously won't make 9 changes against Morocco, but they lost that contest. But I think Upamecano, Adrien Rabiot, Chouameni, may be injury doubts. Let's see what happens. You don't really miss games in the biggest, some of the biggest games of the tournament. But I think we do have some news as well. So I want to take a look at the news that we have on both teams. Okay, all right, so that's the training footage there. France were sweating on the fitness of Chouameni and Upamecano as they missed training, and that was yesterday. And the news coming in today, just 5 hours ago, that Adrien Rabiot had also been struggling with illness, as well as Upamecano. Coach Price, if those players aren't in the game, how can it change the dynamic?
They will be in the game. I guarantee you that. I mean, people get knocks, and especially coming out of a quarterfinals, you're a bit sore, a bit leg weary. But guess what? This is the semifinals of the World Cup. People will be up and ready for this game, and I believe that though those, normal media talk, people are not sure if people are going to play, but I expect to see all their top players out tomorrow. What has happened with Morocco now? Morocco has lost a very influential person in their captain. When you look at the team that they finished defensively in their last game, there were 4 changes made to that team that played the very first match that they played at the start of the competition. So they are very, very battered and weakened defensively. And against people like Dembele and Mbappe and Griezmann, it's going to be a very tough game. And like Coley said earlier, they have not faced an opponent that plays with a out-and-out number 9 in Giroud. And I believe that he'll be a tall task to deal with, even though they are tall players. Because he can come directly on you, hold up the ball, wait for the midfielders. And I believe the contest between Griezmann and Amrabat is going to be a very big contest. And I believe that Griezmann coming at Amrabat, trying to play that ball on the shoulders of Giroud, will be where the game will be lost or won tomorrow. And I believe that the French team just has too much potency in their attacking unit.
Yeah, Liam, some key stats. Antoine Griezmann has created the most chances, 17 at the tournament, and has the highest expected assists, 2.94. The next closest player on the chart is Jamal Musiala, who is either on vacation or probably has rejoined Bayern Munich in training by now. So as Coach Price says, that contest between Griezmann and Amrabat should be a key one, but Griezmann has really shunned this World Cup.
And Amrabat has been fantastic for Morocco. We also have to mention that. I mean, we're looking at these injuries from Morocco, and it is because the passion they've had, the grit and the hard work they've had. And we could possibly see another Argentina-Croatia tomorrow, because I think Morocco are more battered than Croatia were before this game. But I don't think we will at the same time. Morocco have been fantastic defensively. Only conceded 1 goal, which was an own goal. against Canada. And they did, I mean, though Giroud is probably the best out-and-out number 9 in this competition, last when they played Portugal, they did have the Gonçalo Ramos, who scored a hat-trick against in the round of 16, so they did have to face him, and they did lock him down well. Got the ball very little. So,
but different profile to Olivier Giroud, for sure.
Yeah, different profile. Giroud is a bigger guy, more of a target man, but at the same time, Gonçalo Ramos is more of a striker than Asensio was against Morocco for Spain. So yeah, I think and like Coach Price said, they do have the height there. So I think they will look to lock down Giroud, and will obviously sit back and look to hit on the counter, get the ball wide to the Hakimi and Allah on the fullback and forward, and get the ball into En-Nesyri to try head the ball into goal and get their goal.
Yeah, Sharona, what contest or what matchup should we be looking forward to, or do you think it's just all over the park that we're going to have? Because Coach Price mentioned Amrabat versus Griezmann. We've talked about, I think, Hakimi versus Mbappe. What are you most looking forward to?
Well, I suspect if Mazraoui is good to go, he'll be the one there. So him and Dembele should be interesting. I think sometimes he looks a little, you're not sure, if he's really a defender. He looks more like an attacker, Mazraoui. But I think the beauty about the French team is that the goals can come from anywhere. So locking down one player is just like playing whack-a-mole when you're looking at this French team. The depth, the quality, just how clinical they are, and I'm expecting them to win tomorrow.
Well, Coach Rademacher's, Sharona mentioned the defenders. Achraf Hakimi has attempted the most tackles, 19 of any player at the tournament, and he has the second most successful tackles. And Mazraoui, who she mentioned, has attempted 13 tackles and has 8 successful tackles. He's also in the top 10 in both categories. So though they bomb forward on the flanks, they also do their defensive work pretty well, the Moroccan.
Yeah, they're very good athletes as well. As you said, when you look at Mazraoui, physical presence, he really can go up and down a lot and make sure that he does both tasks, as he has that experience as a defender, but is very comfortable on the ball. So going forward, he's very comfortable being there as well. I hope that he plays, because we see a lot of injury news. 3 men, I think, out the back line. Even Aguerd looked injured as well. But we saw last match, they changed out and they still did very well. Can they do it again? I think it's difficult to replace quality like a Mazraoui with Allah. No matter how good he did in the last match, Mazraoui has experience, has quality, played Champions League, have been there, done that. And tomorrow might just be a match where you really go and miss that extra quality of a size, of a Aguerd, of a Mazraoui in the back line. So I hope we can still, maybe as you say, France can make up for it by benching Rabiot and Tchouaméni, putting Guendouzi and Camavinga might get some playing time in the midfield instead of the left back. But I think either way, which way France goes, it will have to be a team effort from Morocco defensively and a 1-2 time going forward with En-Nesyri or maybe a Ziyech with a left footer that in the top corner.
Yeah, and before we let Liam go, Liam, the final thoughts from you. I have to get your prediction now for the game tomorrow, and who you expect, obviously, after that game will meet in the World Cup final.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, I think it's going to be interesting to see France tomorrow, because, we saw them against England. They were second best, kind of, not second best, but, sat back and let England, England have majority possession. So they're going to have to switch it up, playing against a Morocco team where they're better on paper. So it's going to be interesting to see them and see if they, have the attacking potency that Portugal and Spain did not have to get the ball in the back of the net. And that could play in Morocco's favour, as they did, France in the last game played, a bit more defensively. But I do expect France to win. I don't think it'll be like today's game for Argentina, but I think it could possibly go to extra time at penalties, but I see France winning.
All right, that's the final whistle for Liam. We're going to take another break now on the programme, and when we come back, I think we get Shavar back in. Now, we've been making substitutions like crazy. But stay with us on Final Whistle. We're coming back with more.
Final Whistle brought to you by Digicel, Grace, Pepsi, and Burger King.
Because it's the season season of giving, enjoy enough pickings this Christmas with a chance to pick and win your share of over 16 million in cash and prizes. Plus, get 25% off a 7 or 28-day Prime Brota bundle in the My Digicel app today. Enter to pick and win with Digicel this Christmas.
Grace Foods got the taste that moves you. Yard and abroad, it moves you. Grace Foods, the taste that moves you. Feel the vibes and the time of the day. Grace Foods from the inside. The taste that moves you. From the spices move you. Everybody shout out Grace.
When the food sweet, we dance. When the vibe nice, we love. The taste that moves you. Grace bringing the food you love.
Grace has the taste that everyone loves. That's why when we move with Grace.
Let's talk viewership. TVJ has an overall 78% share of free-to-air TV viewership island-wide and the largest audiences of any station every day. TV talks to your audience. Hello. Let's talk TV. Call the TVJ sales department at 876-926-1100 or visit televisionjamaica.com.
Make money now with local City and Guilds and ABE endorsed certificates and Distinction College. Start new online and face-to-face classes very soon in our Make Money Now career courses and get qualified jobs worldwide or start your own business in practical pediatric, geriatric, and psychiatric nursing, phlebotomy and pharmacy technician, early childhood education, child care, cashiering, call center, event planning, receptionist, customer service, housekeeping, waitering, food preparation, bartending, cake baking, plumbing, motor vehicle, electrical installation, air conditioning, makeup, hairdressing, nail technician, and cosmetology. No subjects required, no age limit. Register this week and get City and Guilds Maths and English classes for free. Call us at 3564167.
Final Whistle brought to you by Digicel, Grace, Pepsi, and Burger King.
Welcome back to Final Whistle. My favorite part of the show, prediction time, is coming up, but and Coach Price laughs. But we'll get to prediction time in a short while. But we want to hear from the man who many consider the real Ronaldo, R9, the Brazilian Ronaldo, who won 2 World Cups. He was a youngster in '94 when the Brazilians won it, but was undoubtedly the star in 2002 when they won it again. That's the last time they won the tournament. He was talking about Kylian Mbappe and the fact that he thinks he's the player of the tournament. And he also, I think, spoke about how he expects the tournament to end.
I was talking about how fast he is and how good he is and how he's remember me when I played before. So, and he knows how to use his ability, how to go faster than the others and use that ability to assist or score. So I think France is the favorite one to win the World Cup, as I thought before the World Cup starts. And Mbappe, for me, is going to be the best player for the World Cup. England played very, very good football against France. I think it's happening the same as happened with Brazil. I think England played very good, but at the end, small details changed the whole result of the match. But the English people should be proud of.
All right, so R9 there giving his take on who will lift the trophy, a trophy that he so memorably lifted back in 2002. All right, so our coaching staff has been making a lot of changes. The fast-running young legs of Liam Henriquez has been switched out for the experience of Shavar Thomas, who will see out the rest of the contest. We don't want to concede any late goals. Shavar, it's prediction time. France versus Morocco tomorrow. Where are you leaning?
And Morocco has been really, really good. But I think this is where it comes to an end because they haven't seen a front line as France. So I'm leaning towards France.
Coach Price?
Definitely France. I think Morocco, they're leg weary. They have a lot of injuries. It's going to be difficult to keep that potent offense of France from getting goals.
Any score lines from you too, by the way?
I think a 2-0 victory for France.
Shavar?
3-1.
3-1 France. Sharona?
Yeah, they've been conceding goals, so I hope Morocco will score one, but I really do see France showing their quality. So I would love a 3-1.
Yeah, by the way, France has been conceding, Morocco hasn't.
Right.
Coach Rademacher, so I don't know how much that plays into your prediction.
I mean, I said it after the Portugal match. I said we expected Morocco to lose against Belgium. I expected them to lose against Spain. I expected them to lose against Portugal. And I said I can't see them beating my prediction every time and still go against them. And as you say, they don't concede a single goal yet from our opponent, so I'm going to go 1-0 Morocco.
Wow, that's bold. Coach Coley.
They convinced me. Can't go against them again.
Well, fire on the left, bigger fire on the right, fire in the middle. I think
fire everywhere.
And I just want to know that I think against England, the French team played Mbappe wrong, because you notice when he didn't have the ball, he was beside Walker inside, and I think he started was very wrong. Against Hakimi, he will always be playing behind Hakimi, so when they get the ball, he can go the 1v1. So I'm expecting the France team to win. I think Morocco team has a goal in them, the one goal that Coach and Eric spoke about. So I'm thinking about a 2-1 win for France.
Yeah, by the way, our producers are being kind today. They say we have a couple of minutes left, so I was a little bit early. I want to go back to Coach Rademacher's. I mean, you picked Morocco, but I can't help but think that you're just doing that just because they've...
Let me tell you, no, it's from before, because, I mean,
just
Morocco...
because they've exceeded their expectations.
No,
so
Morocco
far.
has a little bit, they have strong ties with Netherlands. So even growing up in Netherlands, a lot of Moroccans in the community and stuff. So you see a lot more from them. I say Ziyech grew up in Netherlands, Amrabat, his brother grew up in Netherlands. We follow them a lot. And it's something that when we see them perform, you get more information, whether it's a valid performance or, it's kind of lucky that was unexpected. And knowing before the World Cup, Ziyech and Mazraoui were kind of banned from the team, the coach, all the commotion. Once that change happened and they were embraced back, you felt, at least from whoever from Morocco you talked to, a positive energy. That positive energy has translated onto the field with players performing above their normal performance maybe, and even like good players. Amrabat at Fiorentina does good, but does he at this level? No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
So he rise above that, and at some point I feel you have to then realize we cannot just think realistically. We look at the two teams, and France should beat them, Portugal should beat them, and at some point you have to give them credit.
But what do you think would be the better final though?
I think Morocco from the start has not shown entertaining football. They have shown football that is nice to watch because the underdog story, and as a coach you watch the discipline. So as a neutral,
you want to see France versus Argentina?
Yeah, of course, as a neutral. But for the story and even the World Cup, we saw the talk earlier about the African talk and the tournament, to keep that whole mixing and the dreams alive of everybody around the world. We can win the World Cup as long as we make a commitment and we have a plan and we do it the right way. For that story, it would be nice for Morocco to reach there. But say realistically, look at France, but they keep proving us wrong.
So dream and heart is one thing.
Yeah.
But when you have the same 11 and you have diminishing returns kicking in, diminishing returns, this is where the buck stops.
Football will speak too much.
By the way, a couple of important lessons there from Coach Rademacher's that I think, and Coach Coley is listening, Coach Andrew Price and Shavara.
The season of giving. Enjoy enough pickings this Christmas with a chance to pick and win your share of over 16 million in cash and prizes. Plus, get 25% off a 7 or 28-day Prime Router bundle in the My Digicel app today. Enter to pick and win with Digicel this Christmas.
Final Whistle is brought to you by...
Get 25% off a 7 or 28-day Prime Router bundle in the My Digicel app today. Enter to pick and win with Digicel this Christmas.
Nothing moves your vibe, your mood, or your appetite like the taste of grace.